Hey fellow ServiceNow devotees, get ready to embark on a journey through the fascinating realm of ServiceNow with none other than the service docs themselves. I'm James Downs.
And I'm Rush here. Whether you're new to ServiceNow, pre-Aspen veteran, or just a curious soul, we're here to bring you ServiceNow curiosities, exhilarating interviews, and don't forget the infamous A to Z game.
But mostly, it's about the random ramblings of two middle-aged guys with a funny story to tell, right?
Yeah, true. The ducks are ready, the mics are on, and we can't wait to have you join us. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to Season 2 of the Service Docs podcast. Yes. I'm excited, James.
I know, me too. It's all change. I say all change. We're still the same.
Yeah, we've survived. We're on Season 2.
Yes. I guess it's a good opportunity to say thank you for everyone who's tuned in and watched our episodes through Season 1. People who shared and liked and commented and followed us on LinkedIn and all the socials. We definitely appreciate it, and we definitely need more of that coming on as well in this season.
Absolutely. And you're forgetting, if you haven't yet listened to it, go back through the back catalogue. There's exciting things in there, such as top tips for bagging a gig, and what do you do in the first 90 days. What else have we got? We've got some the alphabet quiz, the first alphabet quiz that we did at Christmas. There's loads of stuff in there to go and check it out.
Yeah, a few good ones in there.
So what are we doing on this episode? Just to give you a bit of a teaser, we are going to be talking about, James and I are going to think about our inspirational people in our career, right? And this was an idea I came up with, and I kind of surprised James with it, as I do with many of these topics. However, there are kind of rules to this, right? You've got to pick 3 inspirational people that have inspired your career so far. See, and I don't think you're allowed to pick historical figures.
No, actual people I've worked with, or I can't just say my mum or my dad.
Yeah, you're not allowed. They're actual people, but they've got to be in the career. You're not allowed to say things like Homer Simpson either or anything like that.
I believe that children are the future, unless we stop them now.
Right. Okay. They've got to be real people.
Real people. That's made a difference.
That has made a difference. But before we get on to that, we've been doing some really exciting stuff for Season 2, because what happens when, just to throw it out there that people won't know, is we kind of ramped down on Season 1, right? And we did that to give James and I a bit of a break, a bit of a reset. We got things like summer holidays in the UK, so we have to spend a bit more time with the family. We'll get onto that in a minute.
Yep.
But it doesn't all stop for us, because just because we're not recording, we've probably been talking more, haven't we?
It's not really been a break, because it's almost like we've been so excited about getting Season 2 stuff out there and being so planned and being actually professional. Just to be ready for this season, we've talked more. Yeah,
that's it. We have talked more, and I'm just thinking when we're going to post this. So by the time you've listened to this, we would have already dropped a couple of episodes that we've recorded with interviews. So Season 2, we're spinning it a little bit and trying to get more people from the industry on, chat with us, and just generally have a bit of fun, right?
Yeah.
So the ones you've probably seen so far, we've got Jeremy Duncan in terms of the certified master architect, and we spoke to Lauren McMahon. But do you know what it is, right? Do you know what it is? I don't want to say, I would go full hog. I'd really commit and say Lauren McManningham.
McManningham?
That's what I would go for.
I think she'll accept that name going forward.
But do you know why? Because that's Liverpool back in the 90s, Steve McManningham.
Oh, McManaman. Yes. Yeah.
I would always say that, because I can't say, there's certain words I can't say. So I tend to just kind of, what I'll do, if I don't know, just mumble.
just Lauren.
Anyway, so we already had those, but but let's just come back to a little bit of familiarity. So let's talk about what we've been up to. Let's have a few minutes on that, and then we'll get into the inspirational characters / people. So come on, what have you been doing I already
Well-
know what you've been doing, but tell me something. Hopefully, you've held some stuff back.
Kind of. I mean, yeah, there might be some stuff, but maybe that you're not particularly aware of. But it's been a busy one, isn't it? Really, it's been a really busy
Very.
last few weeks. Not just for the Service Ducks, but both with my work and also with my kind of sideline work, and that's where I'm going to start with because
Sideline work.
those where's the links?
This, James
so
is
yes, I've been
be a stripper on a weekend.
no,
A butler in the buff.
yes, no. Here's my OnlyFans link. If you just click down there. No, so I've been doing some...
just before you go on there, James, I'm sorry to interrupt me, but we did toy with the idea that if we get to 1,000 followers in the next week, then we will do a Christmas episode completely in the buff. No.
Nobody agreed to that. I've not seen the contract.
Let's edit that out because that's a
How
reason
to
not
lose all of your followers.
Right, carry on.
Jeez, that is a target though.
As you were.
Like, share, subscribe. Yeah. So it's been a busy week. It's been an interesting one. Obviously this is probably going to go out in a few weeks from now, but you would hopefully have already seen a lot of Vancouver content already. So I have been busy looking at the functionality behind the new Vancouver release. I've been doing a lot of kind of proof of concepts and just trying out some of the new functionality. More specifically, my favorite areas, which is around low code, no code, looking at App Engine Studio, looking at Process Automation Designer. So you'll see a few videos up on my YouTube channel, link there, OnlyFans there. So if you're interested in having a look at those, just get up to speed in those areas, by all means have a little watch. What else has been happening? Other than that, I think work-wise, I can tell you what I've generally been up to there. So recently, the work that I've been involved in with CMDB had gone live. That was a few weeks back. Very successful, very good. We're now kind of reached that point where you almost hand over operationally to a particular team who are going to be carrying the development effort on. So maybe there's something that is good for another podcast episode in terms of agile and what to expect from your sprints and your team.
I like it.
Release cadence.
That is a good
story
topic.
formats. And
let's stop the conversation. Let's add it to our list.
Yes.
I will do it now for us.
Good. So
there is some planning thought going on. Episode.
Yeah. We've obviously talked before about those who've come through like the next gen program or those absolutely new to ServiceNow may well have been on training for something ServiceNow specific, but then maybe they've not been involved in the likes of these kind of like projects and agile projects to know how they're set up, who's involved in them, what are the steps, how do you get from designing something in dev and then pushing it up to prod. We've talked a little bit about update sets and things like that in the past, but we're not really talked about agile.
No, well, that's a. Do you know what? That's a really good topic. I think actually we should do that on our next chatter, right? Because we've teased with it before when we were talking about this is season 1 when we talked about the whole Rise Up Next Gen and people going through that course and learning ITSM or ServiceNow. And that's great from a technical level, but the methodology in which you deliver that technological solutions, don't know, go with it.
So I guess you just wouldn't know otherwise, would you? You wouldn't know how things generally are until you work for a customer or a partner.
It's weird. I mean, pointing stories based on 3s and 5s doesn't make any difference.
What the hell is Fibonacci?
What's all about? So that's a great one. That is a great one. Yes, I feel some mini kind of series maybe coming up on that. But no, that's a good one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, that's about it really. Just a lot of work. Obviously doing prep and stuff for Service Ducks. Work on my own channel.
I've just thought. Do you know what else we did? We've ordered some merch.
We have.
This is exciting. We've ordered some merch. In fact, I'm not even going to tell you what it is. Right. Well, I'm not going to tell. No, I mean anyone that's listening, I'm not going to tell you because you already know. You were there where we ordered it, right?
What is it?
But it's going to be funny. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Serious note, we're trying to. We'd like to get more involved with the community, kind of face to face, right? Because we do this podcast and we post the episodes out, but we'd love to get involved in things like meetups or events. I'm trying to get some permission for. So we've got the London Now at Work CreativeCon happening, Now Forum thing happening in October, and we're trying to get the permission to go and do a podcast there. And I think what format would that look like? That would probably look like me and James milling around the crowd, interviewing developers and administrators, right, and tech consultants, whatever. Just generally having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So we're looking for that. So if you know anyone that can get us in on that, great. If not, I think we're just going to do it by stealth anyway, right?
We're just going to turn up regardless.
Yeah, we'll just do it anyway.
Here's a mic.
And just get kicked out. It'll be worth it. But that'll be fun. So what have I been up to? I make lists, right? Because if I don't make lists, I'm old and stressed. I forget things. I have been working on ITOM, event management stuff, which is always exciting for me anyway. Also been doing, do you know what I haven't really delved into much before that I'm getting more involved in, is the digital portfolio workspace. Now, I've obviously I've done the whole service taxonomy stuff before, service ownership and service modeling, going back years and years and years ago. But I know conceptually what it is in my head, and I know CSDM quite well. And we did an episode on CSDM in
we did
season 1 as well. But the digital portfolio workspace kind of contextualizes it and brings it to life in front of your face a bit for people that don't necessarily understand it. Or relational databases in their head, right? So it brings it all together. And it sounds quite a dull subject, but actually when you see it, and you see everything's together. So it's a place where you've got business services and service offerings together, and you can quickly see, oh, this is the commitment, that's the availability, this is the information about that service, and this is who owns it and whatever. And it just brings everything together in a nice, sassy looking way. Right. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Essentially the new SPM. Or was SPM.
Yes. It's fairly new, but it's something that I haven't really delved into too much before. So it's quite nice. Just thought I'd share that. On a not so nice note. On a not so nice note, in the UK, when we're recording this, it is summer holidays. So what that means, right, is if you've got kids, you've got 6 weeks of pure hell when the kids are at home shouting and screaming, I'm bored, I need this, I want that, and just general with their demands. Add that with, this sounds like a right British moan, add that with the weather we're having in the UK at the minute, it's just rain almost every day.
Yeah, it's very...
And this annoys me, right, because if you live outside of the UK, right, if we went to America and said, what do you think Britain's like? They'll just go, oh, it's always raining. Right? Yeah. And it annoyed me because before you used to go, well, that's not the case. It rains no more than it does in New Zealand, right?
Get some decent weather. Yeah.
Yeah, we get decent. Now, if they say it, you kind of got to go, yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah, does always rain. Anyway.
Yeah, it's very up and down, and it is.
It's not great. So you got kids on summer holidays indoors pestering because they can't get outdoors because of the weather.
Yeah.
So anyway, anyone that's listening to this that is having to go through the same kind of journey that James and I are, we're here for you. You are our heroes. We are all heroes together. And there's only a few more weeks left, so let's pull through this. Okay?
Yes. Yeah, we can do it.
We can do it. So what else are we doing? So we got that. Vancouver Little Nibbles. Yeah, we were on the Vancouver webinar the other day, weren't we? The thing that struck me, and I've already said this in the Lauren interview, was the kind of enthusiasm and the banter that was going on while the webinar was going on. And the dev advocates like Chuck and Lauren and Earl and Pranav don't get to see this. That we have that banter whilst it's going on, which I love, to be honest with you. My top pick has always been the callback action, which may or may not be in Vancouver. We don't know.
Yeah.
I see your face.
Yes, we still blame Lauren for that.
No, we can't do that. It is the callback, the go back to action, should I say? Sorry, and that kind of brings us more along the lines of the whole workflow rollback. So I think it's not the fact that I didn't listen to that thinking, yes, I'm going to use that all the time, or yes, I've had perfect scenarios over the last 3 years when I use that. No. It's more what it represents. It's more. Yeah. It's moving us, and it's kind of bittersweet, really, because I love a bit of old workflow.
Yeah, and in workflow, you could almost do whatever you want, and then I think that's the problem with people coming over from workflow to flow, thinking, "Oh, I can't do what I used to do," or it was very open in terms of what you could do scripting wise or whatever you want, and when that's taken away when you go into flow, that's a bit. It's a bit annoying.
They've got most of the things there now. And a load of performance improvements, which will stop you shouting at the screen. So I don't know. I think that's exciting.
It's in the right direction.
I think there'll be more to come on that as we progress through season 2, and there'll be more interviews as well. So I don't want to spoil what we've got coming up. All I will say, make sure you're doing the whole followy stuff, and then you'll find out about it. Yeah. Let's get back on topic because we're rambling.
This time only for 16 minutes. So that's not too bad.
It's not bad for us. That's not bad for us. So I'm gonna throw the baton over to you, the virtual baton, to come up with 3 inspiration. And you can do it one at a time, or you can kind of give me a little back and forth. Or kind of go about it. I don't know.
We'll do back and forth.
3 inspirational people that you will say are pivotal. To your career right now, and that could be good or bad, right? So it could be people that that could have been a boss that you had years ago that made you do something else. You know what I mean?
Perhaps I see what you mean.
Yeah, so it's not all. It's not all. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah.
So, come on.
Okay. All right. So my first person, and there's a little bit of theme. So I went with the good, by the way. So these 3 people, and I'll just go with my first one first.
Oh, this is exciting. I'm actually excited. What if?
Because you don't know what's coming up. And what I would say is, well, those listening to this as well, maybe there's a good chance for you to think about this as well. Like how the way I thought about this is, how have I been carved into the person I am now? And obviously, it's from certain experiences in the past and your past jobs that you learn from. Actually, the first one may well be fit into that bad category. Maybe.
Oh, stop! You're teasing me.
We say names. Yeah, I guess we say names. They don't care.
Say names, haven't we?
Yeah, I'll say full names.
How else did you think this was going to work?
No, I know, but if it's a bad one, and then we tag them in.
Oh Christ! Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I'm going to say it regardless because it's turned out really well.
Okay.
Right, so the first person is someone called Fiona Simpson.
This first person is not bad, right? Is that right?
No, the first person is Fiona Simpson. Right? Hey? Fiona Simpson. You'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
So I used to work for Capgemini. That's not pounding the jar, but that's just, it was Capgemini. It wasn't ServiceNow related at all. I worked on a help desk. And the theme with this is around a trait for hard working. So basically on the Capgemini help desk that I was up in Inverness in Scotland, there was thousands of calls per day. It was one of these kind of help desk places where you're expected to, really rattle through phone calls, and, you're doing things like password resets, account unlocks, Outlook stuff. Yeah. And it's just about get them off the phone as soon as possible, answer the next one.
Yes.
And
been there.
Obviously, there's different management styles out there. And I particularly, maybe to begin with, I didn't get on with this particular management style that Fiona had, because essentially what Fiona used to do was just sit over your shoulder, or stand over your shoulder. Sitting over your shoulder is a bit weird.
Yeah.
Stands over your shoulder.
Like Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, like the little devil on your shoulder.
Yeah, go on.
And it's essentially whipping you, not literally, but to take more calls. If she sees you and you've just hung up the phone, she's on you immediately. Go take that call. There's people waiting. There's people in queue. She'll be shouting. It's like a proper, I don't know, what do you call it? I don't know. Imagine like Wall Street. You know how you got phones going on all the time. It's like a big buzz around you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I guess what that kind of drove into me is the kind of hardworking and work ethic.
Yeah.
Because it was all about just answering calls from these people who were just trying to work and just log into their PC in the morning. I had zero empathy at that time for them people. But it was a case of, Fiona managed to get out of me, trying to be competitive and maybe do 100 calls per day or 120 calls per day. And then that was a good day, sort of thing. So,
Okay.
Yeah. So that was inspirational to me. So it was about, having someone really make me work hard.
Okay. Work ethic. Okay. Are you going for your next ones? Or am I?
No, I'll pass over to you to do your first one.
Are we going? Hang on. We didn't really set down the rules here, right?
We didn't.
Are we going from earliest to newest?
That is, essentially mine is, yeah.
Okay. Oh, no. I thought I had some in the bag. Can I have 4 people?
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Coming into your head right now.
I thought I had 4 in the bag. 3 in the bag. Right. Okay. And it's just come to me as I go further back. I'm going to go, right?
I'm ready.
I'm going to go with a manager I had when I was on the service desk, when I was a team leader of the service desk and then service desk manager, the service delivery director, Robert Lippiat. And I would consider him a good friend. I haven't spoken to him for a few years, but I still would consider him a friend rather than a boss.
Yep.
Only lives the next village along. But he was inspirational for me because he was very people orientated. So we're going back years and years and years ago, right? And he was very tuned in, very emotionally intelligent to get the best out of people. And he led teams such as the service desks, the infrastructure teams, even the developer teams at some point. Had no technical developer knowledge, didn't know JavaScript or anything like that, but knew how to get the best out of people. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
So he taught me more the emotional intelligence side, the playing it fair side, that in terms of good work-life balance. And he was just a generally nice person.
Yeah. So this is like opposite end of the scale to my Fiona Simpson in that not a people person, get the job done. This is more cuddly, we'll look after you, I've got your back sort of thing.
Well, the thing is, I mean, cuddly, I'm not sure cuddly is right, because I think he's and I should draw more, and I will say, right, it's inspirational not just from a work point of view, but from a personal level, right? Because he was a very, very calm person. Yeah. And I think his theory was that if you remain calm and you need to get angry or not angry, if you need to get stern and I can't think of the word, but it's easy for people to understand that something's really ticked you. Because if you're always at the calm level and you go to this level, people think, whoa, that must be serious. Do you see what I mean? But if you're constantly at this kind of level of I don't want to say ticked offness, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're beating people and say, oh, do this, I want you to do that all the time, you've got nowhere to go. You see what I mean? So
yeah.
I think that. So yes, inspirational person number 1 for me. Number 2, who are you going for?
Rob. Love it. So the second one is, I think, when I was 21. So this is when I moved from Scotland down to England for my very first job down here. And I worked for the NHS, basically. I was in like a shared services agency where
you are name dropping these things today, aren't you? Come on.
Yeah. Where different NHS practices will call you and ask for help and that sort of thing.
Yep.
And there was one particular person called Andy Wilkin, and I think that's his name because it's been ages.
Must have
I'm
been
no
really
longer near 21, by the way.
Go on.
But I think this was one on the personal level, and I think what I like about Andy Wilkin is the calmness under pressure. So been working on the phones and speaking to those, nurses and people in A&E who are like, obviously they need their equipment up and running as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be agitated. They're going to be stressed. They don't need some idiot on the other side of the phone call. So basically, Andy Wilkin handled that really well. And I think what I took from him as well is, he's one of these people, and I'm sure you'll have someone in your mind when I say this, that is always positive. No
Yeah.
matter what happens to him,
Yeah.
he's always positive. And what I would say, he wasn't the most like popular person on like the desk. It was very jovial. It was very young in terms of how the people that were there. He may even had the Mickey taken out of him a few times. But regardless of that, and he heard it, regardless of that, he was positive.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And I always stuck up for him because, the way he just kind of dealt with it with a smile and just continued was brilliant. So it was about positive nature and being able to, have that kind of empathy with customers when they're not having such a good day.
Yeah. Positivity.
Positivity and empathy.
So I did an experiment this morning, right? So I posted a quote on LinkedIn. I don't usually post quotes. I usually just put some ramblings of a madman, right? But I posted a quote. While I was looking for the right one, because I thought, what's relevant? I found one which kind of links back to what you were saying, and I probably won't do this justice now. But I think it was, success is continually failing without losing enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And I think that was Einstein. It could be Winston Churchill. I don't know. But it's I think it's okay to fail and feel frustrated all the time, but not lose the enthusiasm for the goal you want to hit.
Yeah.
And that comes in with what we do, right? In consulting, scripting, whatever.
Yeah.
Keep refactoring that code.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Number two. This is where it's going to get a bit interesting, right? Because I did have three. I've now got four on the table. I'm going to go back again, back
Mm-hmm.
to another old. Yeah, he probably is old now, actually. Manager in the terms of Mark Evans. I think he's still at the same company. He came on board as a contractor, but that I don't know why I said that, because that's irrelevant. I'm a contractor.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Setting the scene.
Yeah, set the scene. So he I don't know whether he still is, but the was the global ServiceNow or ITSM toolset manager for a large global firm. I'm not dropping them in, James, like you.
Oh, you're not.
No. But yeah,
I'll see it on your LinkedIn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shush. I may or may not have worked there, possibly. But he was the global platform owner, right? And what he taught me was, much to my frustration sometimes, right? So he was quite detailed, attention to detail, and that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing.
Yep.
But what he, I'll give you a funny story in a second about this. But he would quite happily get involved with other teams' processes. So I remember having a challenge with, the development team in terms of Jira versus ServiceNow, that age-old argument. But he had no problems taking it on as his responsibility. So, well, I'll draw you up a straw man process about how we can work between ServiceNow and Jira and how that works. So he's quite happy to get involved. And if he could see something and touch it and influence it, then he would get involved rather than stand back and go, well, that's not my job. You know what I mean? So it's about taking, I guess he taught me taking ownership of stuff, I guess is the point I'm making. And how to grab something with both hands and kind of influence it as much as you can. And about slightly being picky, right? And I can't think of a better word. Detailed. I'm going to say picky, detailed, same thing.
Yeah.
But I remember the once, and I've said this to him afterwards, and I joked about it. But it is a core memory in my life, right? So we were configuring notifications in ServiceNow, and it was about assets. We wanted to send out to, so requesters might have a laptop or a mobile phone or whatever, and we want to send them an email that says, not congratulations, but your laptop has now been delivered, right? Now in ServiceNow world, we'd do a template, wouldn't we? Notification template, and we'd insert the name of the item. So, dear James, your inserted name has now been delivered. Well, he was that. He cared that much about customer experience. He wanted it to be in the right context, right? So rather than, he wanted me to create a variable on the item record called, with a drop down of a or an, so I could pick that up in the text. So the text would read properly. It would be, "Dear James, a laptop has been," or
wow,
an iPhone.
that is impressive levels of.
And when he asked me to do it, I do you know what? I thought it was a joke. But it was more again. It was more again. I mean, we didn't do it because he thought it was funny as well. But it was more what it meant, right? It was like he cared that much that he didn't want customers to get something that was in.
Yeah, you should work in QA or testing.
and
it'd be so pernickety.
But it is something that I've carried on, right? It's something that I've carried on that I also care about that now because of him and because it was drilled into me. So inspirational character number 2, Mark Evans.
Very
good. Go for.
Very good. So my last one, so I'm going to only stick with 3. There is a 4th that was in my mind, but I think they would probably squirm a bit if I said their name. I'm not going to say, it's not you, by the way.
You've kind of upset me now.
No, it's James Down.
Why do you think I suggested this episode?
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's boost each other's egos. No. So my third one is someone, and I'll pound in the jar, DXC. So is Amy Perbolini. I don't remember if you remember working with Amy when you were at DXC.
No.
So how many? Right. This is an interesting question. How many really, really, really good engagement managers / project managers have you worked with? I mean,
edit that question out.
One. Sorry,
I'm not answering. Edit the question.
You're not answering.
I feel no, that's not fair. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses in different areas, right? So yeah, I've worked with a few.
Good answer. But there's some like Amy was completely different because I guess what I'm getting out of Amy is the organization skills. I think to be a good engagement manager, a project manager, you almost need to, be involved in a lot of different things at the same time, as well as obviously managing the time and cost of the project. So I think purely from a kind of customer communication skills, organization skills, and the fact that she was involved with every single aspect of the project. As in, if I was developing something, she would know everything about it. If it was a team of like 5 different developers, she would know everything that what they're up to as well, and their timelines, and checking in on them. And I think this is where this comes down to personal preference in terms of what you like. Yeah. Some people like project managers or engagement managers to be actively involved sometimes. I do. I like them to be constantly on me if there's some things that needs to be done as soon as possible. Or, I like that kind of management style. Almost micromanagement, but not quite that level.
Yeah.
Or there's others who like the more laid-back types, like, just let them get on with it. Yeah. Just let the developers develop. We'll see what happens.
What will be interesting because we've marked down Agile to talk about as a topic, but what role? I guess it'd be interesting to talk about. We won't do it now, but what role does because you mentioned engagement manager and project manager interchangeably in that conversation. But yes. 1, are they 2 separate roles? And 2, how does that work in the Agile environment? How do they slot in?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even mention Scrum Master either.
Exactly. Standard role or standard Agile, they don't, right?
No.
So
exactly.
Anyway, we'll go on to that topic, but it'll be an interesting one.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you.
I guess the main thing that I learned from Amy really was preparation. And I learned a lot of this when I came over to Fruition Partners as a process consultant. Because before you do your workshops, you have to prepare. You have to know your subject. Correct. You have to have all your PowerPoint presentations ready. You have to have all your templates ready to go. You have to know about the customer and who they are and what they do.
Absolutely.
You have to be prepared.
And not just on the train on the way there.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously we've all been there in terms of being, utilized so much that there's no prep time for the next thing. But if you want to be successful, then you need that kind of prep time in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I guess it's that communication and organization skills that she can just pick up like that and
Okay.
be able to spin so many plates was just just impressive.
Okay. So you've got communication and organization from Amy.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Let me go. And then we'll summarize because I think we've got key bullet points for each one, right?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. I can't remember them all, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Yep.
Number 3 for me. Now.
Who do you choose? Or are you going to go 4 though? Are you going to go 3 and 4?
I'm going to give an honourable mention.
Okay.
I'm going to say, and I'm surprised, if I'm being honest, I'm surprised you didn't mention this person. I'm going to say, and I will say this person because I think if you're a technical consultant that is in the UK, you will either know this person or worked with this person, and you will probably feel the same way I do.
Yeah.
Probably. Oh, you know who I'm going to say.
I do. I know exactly what you're going to say. I think that person's probably number 4 or 5 for me.
It has to be Justin. It has to be Justin Loftus. Has to be.
Yeah.
So, those of you who don't know, Justin Loftus is works in the UK, works for EP3, pound in the jar, bang. But James and I have worked with Justin over in Partners IT, Fruition, be it a bit of not sure DXC. No, it wasn't there with DXC.
No, I don't think so.
And UP3 again. And I think for me, it's if I try and boil down, it's the passion for the tool, unrivaled passion.
Yeah.
It's the unfathomable knowledge that he manages to absorb.
Absolute mecca of knowledge. Yeah.
And I can't think of the right phrase, but it's it's the ability to just get stuck in. Do you know what I mean? Rather than again, it's not. It's the whole. He doesn't do the. Oh, it's not my job. You guys can do it. It's not afraid to get stuck in.
Yeah.
Go through the mud with you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So he'll get involved, go through the mud with you. Stupidly knowledgeable. Many of the training sessions that we had at Fruition are still memorable in my head. With the whiteboards and going through, and I think he's quite humble as well in terms of I'm not a scripter. I've just learned what I've learned as I'm going along. So he's you can kind of relate to him that way. He's not an out and out front end or back end developer. He's just learning what he's learning. Yeah,
he's definitely someone who you kind of just soak his knowledge from him, if you know what I mean. Like if he's talking, you listen.
Yes, absolutely.
There's been numerous times where he's supported me in the past, and been happy to support me.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. Nothing's too much trouble. Doesn't matter how much he's going on his plate. He'll always find time for you. So that is inspirational character number 3. And what would I say for that? I'm going to say. So if I sum that up, because I think we're bringing these up in one words, right? I'm going to say. Passion just springs to mind.
Passion, yeah.
That's what has inspired me on that one.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
There you go.
Yes.
Do you want my honourable mention number 4?
I would love to hear your honourable mention. I'm sure your honourable mention would love to hear it too.
My honourable mention goes to someone I work with again, the same company. I won't mention the company again. You can guess or LinkedIn it. But is so she's not really been in the industry long, but she went from, and I'm hoping I'm not doing this story disjustice, right, or getting it wrong. But she went from being like doing accountancy, like doing books, ledgers and whatever, to having a child and then deciding, well, I want to change career. I don't know whether I want to or I have to, whatever.
Yeah.
But whilst having the child and giving birth, she decided I'm going to learn ServiceNow. So not only learning ServiceNow, but I think she learned ServiceNow, ITIL, and Prince 2 all at the same time. Not necessarily same time, but the same time period.
Yeah.
And that was in the first year, right? So whilst having a kid, reskilling and learning, and when I've worked with on projects, she's enthusiastic to get involved as much as she possibly can. Always asking lots of questions to try and learn. So I think I have to give an honourable mention. This is Amira Arslan, who I've worked with for a few years. But just, I don't know. Just for me, you've got so much going on.
Yeah.
To be able to fit that in as well, it has to be inspirational to people. Has to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like that.
That's definitely, that was close. If I'm being honest, there was a few that I missed.
Yeah. Definitely
so I think dedication, I would say for that.
Dedication.
Dedication.
What you got? So you got dedication, you got passion.
Passion.
So you got obviously Rob and Mark as well. I can't remember what you kind of summarize them.
I said, I want to say service ownership. Ownership.
Yeah. Ownership, yeah.
And the other one, Rob, sorry, I just called you the other one, but I'm that was more work-life balance, kind of emotional intelligence.
Okay,
there you go.
Lovely. And would you say that almost sums up? What would you say is like as the kind of key traits that you have now? The passion, the dedication, ownership, emotional intelligence. Have you almost like picked their best traits?
You know what? Do you know what? Right, and this is not planned, people. Right?
Yeah.
I hadn't planned in my head what I was going to say when you said inspirational people. Right? I hadn't planned that. I hadn't written any notes down. I just said what came to my head. You would have wrote stuff down because that's what you do. You would have made your little notes. Yeah, there we go. I just said what came to mind.
Yep.
When I thought of those people, right?
Yep.
When you read those words back to me, I would have say that's 100% spot on. 100%.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's almost emotional, man.
I know.
Weird. Do a podcast. I wasn't expecting this. No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. That's what you're all about. Yeah.
Move on. What were yours?
I guess so, something stupid.
Silly.
Quack a duck, someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were yours?
That's good.
What were your words?
Yeah, well, my words were, hardworking, positivity, and organization and communication skills. And I would say if I was to describe myself to anybody, and my biggest strengths, I would say they are in my organization, my hardworking. I wouldn't necessarily say positivity though. That's more one that I still aspire to. I still would love to not be affected by things when things go wrong. That still happens. I still beat myself up over stupid things. Or you've heard me say this loads of times about, I think I was rubbish on that podcast. I didn't really say the right questions or, that sort of thing. I just wish I was like, do you know what? That was just really fun. I knew there were problems, but I'll do better next time. I don't think like that, and I wish I did.
Yeah, I think that's most people, to be honest. I'm certainly like that. I know we've spoke about this before, right?
Self-critical, But
that's interesting though, because when you say those words, and I think if you asked me to describe you, I would say that. I'm not sure I'd say positive. That's no discredit to you, but I'd say unflappable. Unflappable, I'd go with. Is what I'd say. That's interesting. But you wrote this down though, man. You knew what was going to come out. You're organised.
What I didn't think of was like the overarching theme. I just thought, these are the people that were inspirational to me. I didn't really think, actually, because of these inspirational people, you kind of take their best traits and it becomes you, who you are. I didn't think that deep.
No, I'm emotionally intelligent. Of course I do.
That's it.
Right. I think to be honest, I think that's a really good summary. And I think what we should do is definitely get something, perhaps some article that maybe people that are listening to this can think about inspirational people, how it's inspired them or changed them as people, and whether they can actually realize it now.
Yeah.
Definitely been a bit of an eye opener when you said it back to me. That got a bit high pitched.
There's going to be some cringe moments, isn't there?
There's going to be some cringe moments. But that's what we're here for, to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be honest. Right, should we wrap things up? Do we need to summarise, or we've just done it?
I think we've summarised quite well. What I would say is maybe, definitely have a think yourselves in terms of the inspirational people that made you. Maybe even reach out to them, see what they're up to these days, or if you don't anymore, say thank you.
That's it.
Yeah. I think that's all I got.
That's all you got. Right, should we do our outro? Have we changed it?
Have we changed it?
No. But you do it. You never do it. I do it all the time.
Okay.
No.
So it leaves for us to say, I've been James,
I've been Russ.
and this is the Service Ducks.